Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Monday Make It, Send It. This is a series that I do where I make a card on Monday night and Tuesday morning I send out 2 cards to stamping friends. So I always have 1 card made ahead and then I make 1 card in front of you folks. But before we get to the card that I'm going to be featuring, I wanted to talk about my Luau Party that's coming up. So for those of you that don't know, I did make my goal, and I will be going to Maui with the StampinUP for the incentive trip. So woohoo, because I'm really excited about that. And most of you already know that, so I won't go into details, but this is the very first time for me to win this trip, or to earn the trip. So I wanted to show my appreciation to my stamping friends and my customers and my downline, and I'm going to be having a luau party. So this little gal over here is representing some decorations that I'm going to have. The party will be in Peoria, and October 12th. And we are going to have a demonstrator meeting in the morning, so if you're already coming to that in the morning, you can stay for lunch. And the actual party will begin at noon and go from noon to 4. So it's open house style, so you can show up anytime between noon and 4 o'clock on October 12th. And like I said, it is in Peoria, and if you need more details of the place and things like that, please let me know and I'll give you more details. But I am going to feed you, and we're going to have some stamping projects, and there's no charge to you. It's just for my appreciation to show thanks for everybody who supported me this last year. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and flip off that sign. We don't want to talk about the luau anymore right now, and we're going to do some stamping. So let me show you the card. Like I said, this was done ahead of time, and it features the See a Silhouette Suite, which is shown on pages 132 and 134 in the annual catalog. So there's 3 pages worth of great Stampin' Up! Products in that suite. And the dies is what I want to feature right now. I just want to show you what I used here. These dies are called Sweet Silhouettes dies. So you've got some words and you've got some tree branches, and I used this word adventure for my card. And so I already did this part ahead of time, cutting with the die, and so I'll show you what I did there. I stamped the 3 children, and the word adventure I stamped in the actual paper itself. And so then you have the Pacific Point cardstock behind there that shows through your word adventure. Okay, and so for my card base, I just used, like I said, Pacific Point is just your standard size, scored in the middle. And then I've got a piece of white that will go inside your card. And before I put that piece of white down, I always use some washi tape. I know it's retired, Stampin' Up! Retired, but I have a ton of washi tape left over. And if you're in the same boat, just go ahead and decorate the inside of your card with a little bit of washi tape. So I'm just going to go ahead, before I glue this down, put some of the yellow and some of the red washi tape inside, just kind of coordinate with the colors of the designer paper on the front. So we'll do that. All right. So fold your washi tape over. Like I said, this is retired, but there's no reason why I can't decorate the inside of my card, right? So I'm going to go ahead and glue that piece down. Okay, so we've got our white inside and the Pacific Point blue card base. Get that centered. Okay, and then for the paper that I used on my card, it's actually this sheet. It's kind of psychedelic colors, but it's got all different pretty shades of blotches, for a better word. It's just, like I said, psychedelic, and then the other side looks like this. And the rest of the paper in the pack, it's called See a Silhouette Designer Series paper, and I just love this paper. I mean, look how vivid these shades are. You've got blues and reds and yellows and greens. Real pretty. And then if you turn it on the other side, it's more of a solid. You know, they're, like I said, a little blotchy on the other side, but still real pretty paper on both sides. And you know, with our Stampin' Up! DSP, it's really hard to determine which side of the paper you want to use because it's all beautiful. So, but anyway, I decided to use this. So my children are all kind of looking up at the sky, and that was the idea. And then I put life was meant for adventure. So I'll go ahead and stamp. I've got a piece of scrap piece of white, and I'm going to stamp that sentiment in Pacific Point, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp it 2 different times on here because, you know, in case I mess up when I'm cutting. You've got a big enough piece of paper, you might as well do it twice. And then I'll have those words on there, and I simply just cut that apart. I just fussy cut that and freehand cut that. So that's what I did with that. And then this is the stamp set, Silhouette Scenes. So that goes along with the dies and everything else in that suite that I told you that was on pages 132 through 134. So I really like this stamp set. This is beautiful embossed. If you use black powder, these really stand out if they're embossed in black. But I chose just to stamp in my Memento ink pad for mine. So, all right, so then we're just going to go ahead and freehand cut these. And I'm going to use Life Was. And I'm going to make this kind of catty-cornered. The ones on the sample were straight, but I'm just going to make this, doesn't have to be exactly, right? See, I did mess up, so I'm glad I stamped 2 of these because I'm going to use the Meant, cut out it. Like I said, just any way you can do it straight or cockeyed. Life was meant for and voila. So I'm going to go ahead and use my little handy dandy acrylic mat. This is great for adhesive. And our fine tip glue. And just go ahead and put these words on here. All right, so easy peasy, a little dabble do ya. You don't need much of this glue. And in just a second, when I get done with this card, I'm going to show you a couple more samples. So don't go away quite yet, and I'll show you 2 more cards that were made with this paper and these stamps. So I'm just going to apply a little pressure on here. Okay, so once again, on the one I made ahead of time, I did everything straight. Life was meant for adventure, and I cut my words straight. And then the one I did just now, it's a little cockeyed, but I did that on purpose. So life was meant for adventure, and there's my 2 cards. And like I said, I will be mailing these out tomorrow to 2 of my stamping friends. And then with the, when I cut this out, you have a negative of the paper. So this is actually, you cut it in the front, and then it shows through the blue cardstock is what you're seeing there. But you also get a negative. So the word adventure is what I used for this other card. So that's what I cut away, and then the negative was left behind. I guess I said that backwards. But this is the negative that was left behind, and then the words you cut out looks like this. So I made another card with our pretty yellow ribbon and the same paper and our oval dies. And then I also used the back side, the back side of that paper I just used, and came up with this. So just kind of cut those apart freehand and add your sentiment and some more of the yellow ribbon. So these are just a couple extra added bonus cards that I wanted to show you that I did make with things in that suite. And once again, we'll go back to our 2 cards. And I appreciate you stopping by. And don't forget about my luau. You are invited. So I appreciate it. I appreciate all your support this last year. And my luau is October 12th. So thanks for stopping by.